Back in the lawless lands of the late 2000s internet, there was a new trend that was emerging: online virtual worlds. A virtual world is a computer game where you can customize your avatar, explore little areas in the game, and play mini-games, but most importantly, meet new people. Pretty much the point of a virtual world was the social aspect. And for some reason, these were extremely popular. Disney, Nickelodeon, England, almost every big-name company had a virtual world. And even though you think you've never heard of them, if you're around my age, or a little bit older, a little bit younger, you've most likely played one. Some of the most notable are Club Penguin, Toontown, and Movie Star Planet. But because of capitalism and the need to piggyback off of everything that's profitable, there was a lot of also obscure virtual worlds, the depths of the internet. And for some reason, my 10-year-old self was not interested in those popular virtual worlds. Club Penguin? No. Moshi Monsters? No. I was busy grinding on Switch In. But as most virtual worlds vanished over time and the community became just a skeleton of what it used to be, it got me thinking, what happened to those weird and obscure virtual worlds? Did they fall as hard as the big name virtual worlds, or did they just creep into the corner? And what the hell was going on during the peak? Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, this is what we're here to answer today. A deep dive into the rabbit holes of obscure virtual worlds. Zwinky was a 2D virtual world opened in 2006. You were a Zwink living in the town of Zwinktopia, able to customize your avatar pretty in depth, and decorate your apartment, and also talk to people. There were quite a few YouTube videos made about Zwinky, mostly fashion related because the characters were so highly customizable. A Zwinky celebrity at the time was Hello Kitty Powa, known for her elaborate avatars and emo and scene style that was super popular during that time. But all the content on Zwinky is not as family friendly and, child-centered as fashion shows. The fanbase was known to be a little chaotic, and it wasn't uncommon to see videos like Zwinky Smex or 16 and Pregnant. And though nothing really shocking happened in these videos because it's a 2D chat game, so it's just like two paper dolls talking to each other, it must have been strange for the moderators and creators of the game to see videos like this when they just imagined 8-year-olds making friends on Zwinky. But just like the fanbase, the creators are not innocent 8-year-olds. We know that they're not 8-year-olds, but they're not innocent. The corporation behind Zwinky is Mindspark, also known as CTC Bulldog or i1 or the Excite Network. There's more. They've changed their name like a million times, but the last name that they had before Zwinky dissolved was Mindspark. Mindspark was a software company that was incorporated in 1999 and co-founded by Bill Doherty and Jonas Steinman. I don't know if I'm saying Bill's last name correctly, so please forgive me for that. I did a bit of research on them, mostly to make sure that Bill wasn't a part of the Doherty dozen, but instead I found this man, Bill Doherty, who has probably the longest online biography I've ever read in my entire life, and a wonderful career in theater.
I dreamed last night I got on the boat to heaven, and by some chance I had brought my dice along.
I'm pretty sure that's not the guy that I'm looking for, but I did find the other guy, Jonas Steinman, but I don't like him as much as him.
I had brought my dice along.
But the bad part is that Mindspark is known for putting malware and spyware into their products. If you've ever heard of Pimp My Screen, Smiley Central, or popular screensavers, these are all also made by Mindspark, along with many others. And all of them are classified as browser hijackers and spyware. Most of the time after downloading a program by Mindspark, a toolbar would automatically download to your browser without your permission. It was named My Way. A toolbar is buttons or icons added to your browser that gives you shortcuts to other functions. Think of toolbars as like the late 2000s version of Chrome extensions, but they're like permanently a part of the UI and they're also really ugly. My Way was extremely annoying to anyone who had it. First of all, it was usually downloaded by people who didn't even know they were downloading it, and it was notoriously hard to get rid of. Not to mention, it tracked your websites, changed your settings, added pop-up ads, and basically took over your whole browser. So I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but Zwinky was just probably a part of like this big scheme to get users' information as quickly as possible. And because of that kind of absent feel of the moderators and admins, Zwinky shut its doors in 2016. A lot of people were sad, a lot of people lost contact with each other, and Hello Kitty Powa made a really emotional video. It was really over, and we'd never Zwink on again. But wait, just when we thought Zwinky was gone for good, Xantarite appeared. It wasn't really a carbon copy of Zwinky like Club Penguin rewritten. or other rewritten virtual worlds, but it was pretty close. It's not really popular now, but when it first came out, that's when stuff hit the fan for Xantarite. I kept seeing these two Reddit posts. They were basically the same post, but the comments are what really got to me. Both of the posts were pretty much like, hey, Zwinky's down, so we made a new one. It's called Xantarite, so please join, or stuff like that. And this is the first comment that I saw. It shut down because Tony and Petey are both childish and want to blame everyone but themselves for it shutting down. Not to mention that they're both simping hardcore for a girl who doesn't care about either of them, and back her up even though she was the one who caused the drama, lol. Tony's also extremely racist. She didn't cause the drama. The other girl started all the drama and tried to pin it on the girl to look innocent. They don't simp for that girl. They cut the real person who was trying to start shit lying about the situation. So the owner told her to shut up. And she went around telling everyone that they are simps to show how fake people are. Like, what is the drama? Like, I'm dying to know. Another comment read, and it's too long to read, so I'm just gonna paraphrase. Basically, they're saying that the website is a joke and that they're gonna get sued because they use a lot of the same assets as the old Zwinky website. But it also reads, you also have people who threaten to hack/dox you. Like, what? How is this website allowed? There are catfishes on the website as well, along with child predators, so I highly suggest you don't go on the website at all for your safety. There is much negativity on here, and it is not a safe environment. Oh, like, why does Zwinky always have to be run by people that are not great, even in its second life? It's still handled by people who mistreat the project. This was my favorite comment. Pathetic, bro. You banned me just because I offered a somewhat decent alternative for others. I banned you because you tried promoting your paid sex-based MMO in my Discord. And then all the people in the comments are like, DM me the game, please. Like, Xantarite is on its last leg and they could not care less. But the thing I really wanted to know is like, what actually happened? I messaged a few of the people in the comment thread and I left this part of the script for last because I wanted to see if they responded to me, but they never did. I looked through Xantarite's Twitter, Discord, YouTube. I went all the way back into the beginning and I just could never find anything. But I kept thinking about it all the time. I thought about it while driving to Publix. I thought about it while working out with horrible form in my room. And I even thought about it while writing the script and eating Snyder's buffalo chicken wing pretzels. But the unfortunate part about the situation is that the information I'm looking for is known by such a niche group of people that this information is probably inaccessible to the majority of people. So, in the words of Kanye West, also known as the creator of Graduation, I guess we'll never know. But I mean, we can check in with Editing Deanna for any updates. Hi guys, this is Editing Deanna, and they haven't responded. No one has responded to me, but I'm just gonna give you guys the rundown. So, from what I can piece together, Xantarite temporarily shut down for a bit because there was a user on there that was causing all sorts of drama. And the two moderators or admins, creators, I'm not actually sure who they are, Tony and Petey, whoever they are, apparently they were saying that the drama wasn't actually the person that everyone thought it was who was causing the drama. It was apparently this other person, and everyone said that they were simps for defending that person. But no one actually knows who was the real person causing the drama. What was the drama? We'll never know. So, yeah. Thanks, Editing Deanna. You're welcome, Filming Deanna. Nicktropolis was a virtual world by Nickelodeon, first released in open beta in 2006. The game was a pretty big hit, amassing over 3 million players during the beta and 7 million during its peak. In this virtual world, players could visit Nickelodeon-themed rooms and interact with other characters. You could also play mini-games and buy items from the store with in-game currency. So there's quite a lot of footage of Nicktropolis out there. I found this review of the game from 2007 and it boggles my mind how old it looks, even though I literally remember living in the year of 2007. I also found a lot of videos from kids playing the game, making little roleplay videos, and this one in particular made me laugh. It's a murder mystery which features this entry from Queens 1998 with the Justin Bieber profile picture. He says his dad won't let him download Hypercam, so he has no footage of the incident, but let's read his entry. One day when I stayed home and sat online all day. I came downstairs last night, still online, but when I clicked to find the nickname, it says that she isn't online. What the pie? I'm just so in love with the fact that Nicktropolis videos are just like the absolute time capsule of 2007. Anyways, Nicktropolis is widely remembered, pretty documented, and most of the assets have been found. But the area where it becomes a little bit more obscure is the club. In 2010, Nicktropolis was rebranded as the club. The graphics changed a bit, it became more of a 2D flat game, and a new feature was added called the message board. Other than that, the game was virtually the same. The game stayed up for a while, but in 2014, Nickelodeon decided to update the interface of their website, and they decided that the club didn't match what they were going for anymore. Therefore, the club subsequently shut down. But the strange part is that it's really hard to find content of the club. All we have are very few screenshots and videos, but most of the assets are completely lost. But I did find one video looking for the club on YouTube. It's by Crawler929. He's my new favorite YouTuber, and this video is from 2012.
Gonna type hey emo guy XX stars will get double club points. Shut the hell up, you dumb douche. The fuck? Why the heck can't I move? Come on, emo guy, move your fucking ass. Christ, why is everyone being dumb?
I love you, Crawler929. Also, I found that instead of just the screenshots and videos that show up on Google, the Wayback Machine works pretty well for finding content about the club. And it also shows the old Nick UI, which is really nostalgic. But here is my gripe, which I haven't told you guys yet. The reason why I was so interested in finding the club content was because I specifically remember a werewolves versus vampires or a Twilight event. And I feel like I'm going crazy because every time I tried looking it up, there's like no evidence that it ever happened. And I started my journey just generally looking up the event, but it brought me into this crazy rabbit hole with a whole bunch of content I was never looking for. When I looked up Nicktropolis Twilight, I was redirected to the song Project Twilight Zone by Nicktropolis, and more of his songs which featured I Love Mozzarella Sticks. And then I found this screenshot which looked a little familiar, but the article was completely in Polish and for a game named Smeet, which I had never heard of. Then I looked up the Club Nickelodeon Vampires and found a Redditor accusing Nick Cave of being a vampire. But none of that compared to the content that I would find next. And it's not for the light of heart. Second Life Edward Cullen skins. I then decided this would be a job for the Wayback Machine, and consequently, while I was looking for something else, I found this photo for an Our World Vampires vs. Werewolves event. But after some research, I found nothing but a fan recreation of Twilight and Woo's World, and the sad realization that I cannot play the old Our World through the Wayback Machine. And every Our World screenshot was just not looking familiar to me. But then I realized, why the heck was I not just looking up Nicktropolis on the Wayback Machine? I was searching around the dates of all the Twilight releases. That led me to nothing. So then I assumed it could be a Halloween event that was like loosely based off of Twilight, but it wasn't actually Twilight. And that's where I think I found it. I found a Halloween store. It may have included some vampire stuff, some werewolf stuff, but I'm not sure because I couldn't get into it. And that's where I ended my investigation because I decided that's probably the closest that I'm gonna get. But I thought I'd mention this at the end. If you were a fan of the club or Nicktropolis, there's actually a rewritten version being made by Time Warp Molly. There's some updates about it posted frequently on Reddit and YouTube, but the most recent update at the time of this video is September 8th, 2023. So definitely check that out if that's something you're interested in. Spark City World was a virtual world created by Fuel Industries in 2009. You may be asking yourself, hey, isn't Fuel Industries the same company that made American Dad vs. Family Guy Kung Fu? And you would be right. I saw this on their website and I immediately had to play this game. And even though this was the most amazing intro I'd ever seen for a Flash game, and I'm happy that they somehow added Ryu into the roster, I was very disappointed with the gameplay.
Round one.
Anyways, back to the actual reason why we're here, which is Spark City World. The game is pretty similar to every other virtual world at the time, but it has a city theme and it was specifically marketed towards young girls. You could customize your character, play minigames, and collect pets. Spark City World also had 3 mascots or notable characters called the Clickstars, not to be confused with Clickstar.mpg, which I found while searching for them. The Clickstars were 3 girls named Jessie, Yuki, and Leah, who were tween gaming sensations who loved sportsmanship, fashion, shopping, and doing the right thing. I also found 1 episode of an animated series, but I couldn't find any more than that. Anyways, the game was pretty popular for a few years, and it did its job until its ultimate decline in 2014. The initial decline was mostly attributed to the VIP paywall. Like most other virtual worlds at the time, there was a VIP paywall, but things were just piling up that you could not do without a membership. There was a part of the map called the Secret Store which was locked, there were lots of VIP exclusive clothes and furniture, and you could only be friends with the NPC boys while the VIPs could date them. The VIP issue turned off a lot of veteran players because they felt like the developers were getting too greedy, and also turned off casual players because they felt like they couldn't really do anything in the game. But that wasn't the only thing that contributed to the downfall of Spark City World in 2014. And here comes our antagonist, Pink Lilac. Pink Lilac is sick and tired of the bullying on Spark City World. So what do they decide to do? They bully and threaten people on Spark City World. So this is very much a vengeful and hypocritical arc where morals can be questioned. This is like the become what you seek to destroy villain of Spark City World. So Pink Lilac's ultimate goal was to make the safe chat worse for all the players in the game and just make it a worse game overall for everyone. This was to get back at the people who bullied other people and were arrogant, I guess. If you don't know what safe chat is, it's when certain words are blocked in the chat, so when you type a certain word, it would be censored. I think another one of their motives was just to be like a big name on the website and just have like a reputation. So they started out their grand scheme by targeting Justin, aka Flossie302. Justin was one of the most popular people on the website, and Pink Lilac targeted him because it would make her more notable. So here's a quote from Pink Lilac herself from a blog spot. It reads, "The plan was to get people to hate me, but fear me as well. Justin was friends with everyone. Who better than him to get on the worst side of? Once they hated me, I'd bother the living F out of them till they had no other choice but to report me 10 times harder. And what would they report me for? Bad language. Spark City World would have no choice but to make the safe settings on chat even worse, and at the time, it was effing genius." She told Justin that if he didn't follow her commands, then she would hack his girlfriend Lulu. This kind of gave Pink Lilac a presence and someone that everyone should be afraid of. She would also wear this ghost costume along with a lot of other accounts that she had and just follow people around and be menaces. They would just follow players into different rooms and just harass them until they finally got reported. They would also make players do random stuff in fear of being hacked. There was a rumor that Pink Lilac used to hack people to follow them around, also that she would hack people to add them on her friends list when they weren't added. And apparently, Pink Lilac would own 20 simultaneous accounts while trying to keep up with the shenanigans. Seeing a ghost costume in Spark City World was like the equivalent of seeing Herobrine. No one wanted to get chased or harassed by Pink Lilac. But eventually the developers did notice the situation. Since Pink Lilac was reported over 100 times for the same thing, which she mentioned was bad language, they eventually updated the safe chat and it was super strict. And these were the changes that led to the majority of players leaving. The game stopped getting updates in 2015 and it eventually closed its doors in 2017 as Fuel Industries announced bankruptcy. When the Blogspot interviewer asked Pink Lilac how she felt about it, she stated that it was everything she wanted, but not the Fuel Industries and site closing part. But now, during its aftermath, it's unclear if Pink Lilac even hacked anyone at all. According to Pink Lilac herself, she followed people around with burner accounts and had other people friend them so she knew where they were. There was apparently no hacking involved. But according to this video from Dead Simmer, she talks about how she knew Pink Lilac personally. She claims that Pink Lilac definitely had the means of hacking. Allegedly, the actual account of Pink Lilac was an account that she hacked and took control of, which was already pretty popular. She also most likely used a proxy server or hacked Flash to know the location of players. She also claims that Pink Lilac never had a plan in the first place, and this was all just trolling. Pink Lilac would hack on other websites, and that even though it's believed that Pink Lilac was a girl, she was actually a guy. So really, Pink Lilac was just a troll that took responsibility for the downfall of Spark City World. Club Marian was a 3D virtual world. Before searching for Club Marian, I didn't actually remember the name of the game, but I did remember that you could drive around in a car everywhere. So I tried looking up Cars Virtual World, but I kept getting Disney's Cars Virtual World and it made me a little frustrated. And I remembered finding the games on Girls Go Games, but after I checked, they didn't have an MMO tab anymore. But they do have Backgammon Multiplayer and Eco Recycler. So I went to my trusty Wayback Machine, and this is where I found it. Girls. The very creative and encapsulating name that I can't believe I forgot. After doing some more digging, I found out from research that the name of the game is actually Club Marian. I couldn't find any real reasoning for it being called Girls, but I'm guessing since the demographic of Girls Go Games was mostly young girls, they tried to make a name that was appealing to them. But I was also confused since the name of the website that I found was Made Marian, but I found out that Made Marian is actually the developer of the game. Made Marian, Club Marian, Marian. And they actually have a few other games, all of them being MMOs. Club Marian isn't even their most popular game, it's actually Sherwood Dungeon. The graphics and UI are a bit similar, but I would say Sherwood Dungeon is kind of better. But the thing that sets them apart the most is the gameplay. Sherwood Dungeon features combat instead of social aspects and plays like a traditional MMO. I thought that Sherwood Dungeon would be as forgotten as Club Marian, but there was actually a recent YouTube video about it. It was worst MMOs ever. But To my utter delight, Crawler929 also posted some Sherwood videos. And in this video, he goes to the Club Marian world while in Sherwood Dungeon.
And where the hell am I? And what the fuck is this? What am I playing? Freaking Club Mela now, or whatever the heck it's called?
But there's some other videos I found of people revisiting Sherwood Dungeon in 2023, and also a link to play Club Marian on the website. And if I assume correctly, that means that you can still play both games. This was actually really surprising to me because pretty much every MMO that wasn't super widely popular is in a graveyard now. It's just really hard to keep up giant servers and using resources if no one's playing the game. And Club Marian is actually the only one on this list that is still up and running. So I went on the Maid Marian website to find out a little bit more about the developers. This is when I realized that Maid Marian is one person, and that's Gene Androdi. MMOs are notoriously hard to make, but the fact that this guy made not one, not two, but 6 MMOs is actually really impressive. This guy is literally like the opposite of Yandere Dev. Though the graphics don't really stand the test of time, the beta of Sherwood was in 2001, so I can't really fault him for that. But in a developer's note, he does mention that the Maid Marian team is very small and close, but he does also link an article titled How One Man Made an MMO. Also, whenever he gives his address to the Maid Marian studio, it just leads to a house, which I'm assuming is his house. So I'm not sure if that team of people just helped him keep up with the games or if they actually had a part in developing them. But either way, even with just a small team, making 6 MMOs is pretty cool. But he does allude to the fact that World of Warcraft could be a copy of Sherwood Dungeon since it came out after. But I'm not gonna come on here and be like, hey guys, this game developer that made a super obscure game is actually the inspiration for World of Warcraft, because I just don't believe that. I don't think that the developer believes that either. It's probably just something to stir the pot a little bit. But he now works as a director of live operations for PopReach, which is a mobile game company which for some reason has a lot of Smurf games. So yeah, I appreciate Gene Androdi for making a game I had a lot of fun on when I was younger, and for bringing MMOs to web instead of disk, which he probably was one of the first people to do that. But most importantly, I would like to thank him for making Club Marian, because it led to the creation of this video.
We're gonna have our first date, our first meetup right now.
Oh my god, I'm so happy I will finally meet Troy.
So thanks, Gene. Without you, that video wouldn't exist. So that's it. I probably didn't cover all of the notable information about these virtual worlds. I'm not the best researcher, as you can see from this video, but if I did leave out something that you think I should have added or was pretty notable, just let me know in the comments. Also, this is my first kind of video essay, and if you guys liked it, please let me know. I can make a second part, or I could talk about some other stuff, and yeah, that would be really awesome. So yeah.